I think if you were born in the 90s or even in the mid-80s, you have fond childhood memories of The Lion King. And for great reason, this movie is very good. Combining the narrative of Shakespeare's Hamlet and the Renaissance epic Disney storytelling that we'd gotten used to with the likes of The Little Mermaid or Aladdin, The Lion King definitely earns its place in film history. But what can we learn from it? Today, we'll take a look at one scene from The Lion King which demonstrates how to write and execute a great scene, and how it cemented the movie as one of Disney's best achievements. Let's take a look at The Lion King. In his book Anatomy of Story, John Truby described a scene as a mini-story in itself, and in order to construct it properly, it needs to fit into the narrative and further the development of the hero. He demonstrated this by thinking of a scene as an upside-down triangle, in which the beginning of the scene should frame what it's about. The scene should then funnel down to a single point, with the most important word or line of dialogue stated last. The scene in question we will be looking at takes place near the end of the first act, where our hero Simba has snuck out to the elephant graveyard and had to be saved by Mufasa. The scene immediately starts with Mufasa leading them in a strong, confident position, whereas Simba and Nala trail behind, with their faces to the ground as if in shame. We can tell right away that this scene is about Simba having to own up to his prior actions, but then it gets more interesting. As he moves up to Mufasa before the dialogue of the scene starts, we see Simba step in a large paw print. We can see that it's that of Mufasa's, and his reaction indicates that he isn't ready yet to follow in his father's footsteps, which of course we know is Simba's journey as a hero. John Truby describes dialogue as music, like a storytelling symphony of sorts. Also, like music, dialogue is best when it blends a number of tracks at once. The problem most writers have is that they write their dialogue on only one track, the melody. This is dialogue that explains what is happening in the story, and of course, no one likes being flat out told what is happening.
I did nothing. Exactly. And in doing so, you betrayed your pride. Betrayed Scar!
Show don't tell and all that jazz.
The king is dead. And if it weren't for you, he'd still be alive.
Therefore, you write story dialogue the same way you construct a scene. Character 1, who is the lead character of the scene, in this case Mufasa, states his desire or view.
I've got to teach my son a lesson. Simba, I'm very disappointed in you.
I know.
You could have been killed. You deliberately disobeyed me.
Character 2, in this case Simba, speaks against the desire.
I was just trying to be brave like you.
Character 1 then responds with dialogue that uses a direct or indirect plan to get what he wants.
I'm only brave when I have to be. Simba, being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble.
The conversation between the two becomes more heated as the scene progresses, ending with some final words of anger or resolution.
But you're not scared of anything.
I was today.
You were?
Yes. I thought I might lose you.
I guess even kings get scared, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what?
What?
I think those hyenas were even scarier.
However, just before it ends, the roles shift. Simba now becomes character 1, and Mufasa becomes character 2.
We're pals, right?
Right.
And we'll always be together, right?
Mufasa doesn't directly answer, deflecting with wisdom. The conversation is relatively quick, but Mufasa ends the scene with stating that he will always be there for his son, thus giving him what he wants, but also being a story in itself about Mufasa's fears, the nature of kings, and the afterlife. This is a great scene. Not only does it foreshadow future events like Mufasa's eventual death at the hands of Scar, it humanizes Mufasa and Simba to not being the prince and king, but simply father and son. It's therefore more relatable and thus captures our attention more, and the movie continues, developing scene after scene like this until the end. At their best, scenes are mini-stories. They have arcs and development of their own, and when a scene is done well, you will always remember it. You'll think of every little detail, every line of dialogue, every emotion you felt, and that is down to good structure. Of course, following a structure beat by beat can result in mechanical storytelling, which is why I suggest you follow John Truby's advice on thinking of scene structure and dialogue like a symphony. And of course, with symphonies, there are melodies and structures you can follow, but the best and most memorable ones allow themselves to express themselves within that structure. The scene in The Lion King does follow the structure, but it also twists it to suit the narrative the film is telling, having Simba take on the role of character 1 from his father, almost symbolizing his eventual shift from prince into king, which comes tragically in the next scene. After all, it's like Picasso said, learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist.